they're just finding all the fault in what we do. Listen, we're just, some apes. We're talking apes trying to figure out, how to smoothly navigate this mysterious process called courtship. It's imperfect, it's human. There are going to be a few little mistakes made along the way, but I think if you look at the grander vision of what we're trying to do here, we're actually trying to bring men and women together. you know
We're trying to get babies born. We're trying to
Yeah,
repopulate the earth.
I'm very grateful that I've had men walk up to me on the streets of Helsinki and Spain and uh, in the UK, where I've been recently, and they come up to me and say, "Thank you for changing my life." I get that a lot, and I have children because of you. That is the best feedback that I can get for my efforts, is that people are building families, you know. And there's conjecture that there's a population explosion. There is a population explosion, but as COVID hit, people were reminded that populations need to be of a certain size to sustain, right? And Elon Musk was one to say that we don't have enough people on the planet. And that was an eye opener, coming from a gentleman like Elon Musk to say something like that. So I don't think I'm doing anything wrong by helping men meet women, playing solid game for long-term commitment, and having children.
Mhm.
I think there needs to be a representative that can show the way to where the parties are. That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to get people to come out. And if they have to come out with me, so be it. They'll come out with me. I'll show them how to properly game the night away. You'll get to watch Mystery work and Ablaze and whoever other wingmen I have on my boot camps, like Baxter. World-class pickup has to be seen so that you can replicate.
Mhm.
That was my thought. You want to replicate good pickup, you got to see it in action,
and I'll add
or at
to
least
that,
talk to the guys who are
before i
doing
before I met Mystery, I had been coaching for about 7 or 8 years on my own. I've actually been coaching for 15 years, but 18 years I've been collaborating with Mystery. And Mystery and Baxter are the two top guys that I've seen in field. You mentioned that earlier. Mystery and Baxter and Ablaze, MBA.
it.
Come
You
get
haven't
your
seen me
MBA.
yet. God damn it.
We haven't seen
Uh,
ice yet. MBA and ice. Why not?
I'm emerging on the horizon. Yeah, that's actually super beautiful because, um, of course, in the media, there would be like their evilness and stuff like this. But the reality is that you must have had so many guys come up to you and express, well, of course, you did mention a lot of appreciation has been expressed, but especially in terms of how many lives you're potentially saving. Like that alone can be extremely impressive. Not just the creation of new life, but the preservation uh, as a result of solving loneliness.
There are a lot of
Une-
guys that wind up.
Unexpected. Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Mystery. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, unexpected results have come from it. Like the incel community, the involuntary celibates. You could be in a wheelchair, you could have, muscular dystrophy, you could have, as an example, you know, and still find love. You can find love. You're just going to have to not try harder, just try. If you don't try, no matter how bad off you think you are, some guys think they're not worthy. They're afraid of success, right? What if they get a girl on the go? How can he keep her? There's no way that a girl will want to stick around if he lives with his parents and has no desire to leave, you know? It's a DLV. He lives with his parents, right?
Don't stop yourself before you even get started.
A lot of people do that. That's, they talk themselves out of going to the party. They'll say, "Oh, I only do day game." There it is. That's you only do day game. Well, no, you've only done day game, but now it's time to go to the dojo and get some real training. Do a dozen sets a night.
Now, I was going to say, we make it very clear to guys that train with us that, this is not a substitute for therapy. And if I think a client needs to see a therapist, I will definitely recommend he go see a therapist. But it's interesting because there is a high percentage of men that wind up taking training in one form or another that do suffer from some sort of psychological illness. This seems to be their last safety net. If they can't find friends and people to understand them in here, it's kind of there's something going on here. There's something going on here. Guys that are suffering and struggling wind up in this scene, and they've got a place at the table with me. As long as they're not breaking any laws, you can be angry, you can be pissed off, you can be frustrated with society. And like Mystery said, guess what? There are women out there too that are also frustrated with society. There are women out there that can relate to these sentiments, that the world's not fair, that, whatever negative thoughts you have in your head, there are women out there that agree with you. You just have to find them. They may not be in as great a number,
Your
that's all I
dream
have to
girl
say.
is, yeah, no, it's good thoughts, man. Your dream girl is out there. I've traveled enough to know that there is a population explosion. There are a lot of women to meet, and you just want to meet them in the right environments at the right time, not at 7:30 in the morning on a subway, right? There's a time and place for everything. Find those places, get to those right times, and open sets. It all boils down to opening sets. You gotta open sets as opposed to be online and look for sexual access through a keyboard.
In
Is
which
it
case, you can
possible?
buy my
Certainly
book, The Message Game,
possible.
right
That's
here.
right. But it may prevent you from actually getting a skill set, right? Because you're relying on that only. You're gonna have to meet the girls offline at some point. Like you meet her online on Tinder for a very basic example, and then you still have to talk to her. A lot of the complaints I get from guys who use Tinder and apps of that nature is that they have lots of uh, they have lots of first dates, which is abysmal failure. They have lots of first dates, which means here's a girl that they matched with, and he lost the set by meeting them in real life. Oh, that is a brutal failure, right? Why
Yeah.
don't you just play the game? Go to the party in Hollywood. It's worth going for 4 days. Go visit. Get to one of the parties in the Hollywood Hills. Come with me if you have to, because I'm gonna be there.
There's a parallel between a guy's game in real life and his game online. Some guys think that they're circumventing the game by going online. Maybe it reduces approach anxiety because you get to initiate the chat from behind the keyboard. But I found that if you know how to talk to women in the real world, you know how to set up a solid profile. You're going to know what pictures to put up. You're going to know what content to put in your profile. You're going to know how to message. You're going to know how to convert to a date. But if you don't know how to meet women in the real world, you're not going to have any better results online.
It's the bottleneck to success, actually meeting them after having your profile and her profile meet and make love to each other. Now it's time for you to meet the real girl, right? A profile is not a girl. So after you've met her profile and she's met your profile and you've agreed you're a match, then you still have to meet. And that could be a real bottleneck for a person's success because they haven't developed the skill set for technically filling in the timeline with gambits.
Interesting perspective.
Right?
Very interesting.
I'd like to add on that as well. The key to getting to gameless game, as we call it, is conscious development of gambits and using those within structure. This is another misconception, I believe, of Mystery's teachings, that we don't freestyle, that we just sit there doing routines and gambits all day. No, we know how to freestyle and we know how to use material that's been developed in advance. If you're a musician and you jump on stage, a guitarist, for example, you can jam with musicians that you've never met before because you've internalized different licks and different riffs. And then you can also spontaneously make things up in the moment. But when your mind goes blank, you have things to fall back on. So a guy that studies structured game, such as the M3 model, is going to have a far easier time freestyling than a guy that just freestyles. What does he fall back on when his mind goes blank?
Where are you from?
Yeah. You live
When
around here
people run out of
often?
when people run out of material. So you from around here?
Do you live around here often?
Do you live around here often?
Well, Mystery's always traveling, so technically he could answer that.